Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. Let me officially welcome you to BYOB Profit Call. Yes, welcome to the Profit Call. This is Tasha M. Dye, the Trade Whisperer, creator of the BYOB Cash Out Strategy. So, ladies and gentlemen, as you log on this morning, go ahead and drop it in the chat. Drop it in the chat. Let me know where you're calling in from. Drop it in the chat. Let me know where you're calling in from, along with your affirmations. You want to make sure that you drop that in there. We want to make sure that we're in the right mindset. We want to make sure that we are affirming as we get ready to get this call started this morning. All right, guys, definitely want to do that. And so let me see, who do we have on the line here? Good morning. Good morning, Toledo. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, good morning. Let me see. Hold on. Okay, it's moving now. I'm like, what are you doing? Good morning, Cleveland. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning. Oh, this thing do not need a phrase on me this morning. All right. Good morning, England. Good morning. Good morning, Cleveland. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Milwaukee. Good morning, Claremont. Good morning, Jacksonville. Good morning, Columbus. Yes, there you go. Good morning, Cleveland. Good morning, Milwaukee. Good morning, Georgia. Good morning, good morning. Guys, as you're logging in, drop it in the chat, right? You want to drop it in the chat. Let us know where you're calling in from. Good morning, Virginia. I like that. BYOB consistent winner. Good morning, Minnesota. All right. So I know you guys are still logging in, right? Good morning, but we're going to stay prompt and we're going to go ahead and get started. So where do we begin? Right? We're talking about mindset, okay? We're talking about mindset. And so my mindset begins, right? It begins with you. I am an educated BYOB master trader anointed for wealth. I am the signal. All my trades in profit. I am 777, right? Now that 777 means that we take profit. Good morning, Arlington. That 777 means that we take profit. That 777 means that we have taken the market and turned it into our personal ATM. Good morning, Columbus. All right. And so good morning, Bahamas. So guys, like I said, as you're logging in, go ahead, let's get your mind right, but we're going to get started. So I'm going to go ahead and get my screen shared together. And what you'll see is we've been operating on the tools that are and the trades that we've been kind of analyzing this week. Even though I have some new things for you, right? We definitely have some new things for you. All right. So let me go ahead. If this is your first time here, your first time on this live profit call, let me get a 111 in the chat. And if you are still learning how to cash out, let me get a 222. All right, guys. So welcome, welcome, welcome. All right. Welcome and welcome back. So we understand how this call works, how this call schedule works, right? We want to make sure we understand how it works. And what it is in the morning, Monday through Thursday at 5 a.m. and 9 a.m., what we're doing is we're live, okay? What we're doing is we're in the market. What we're doing is walking you through how to analyze trades, what you're going to do when you're not with us, understanding the different types of market, right? That's what we're doing. And then in the evenings, what we're doing is we're training. So we're going to educate and implement. So as you were on the call last night, that was our basics call. It really sets the tone and sets the foundation. And then, of course, tomorrow is our advanced call, where we're going to help you understand the tools, the resources, understanding exactly how to utilize them. And of course, there will be some review as we analyze because, hey, we're laying a foundation, we're building upon it. This is that implementation. So I'm going to definitely walk you through those things. Now, what will I want to do? Let me just make sure I refresh this. We always want to check our financial news first, all right? We have to check that financial news. And what we see is we already had a red folder this morning. So GBP had a red folder. Now, we don't run away from red folders. We embrace them because I want you to understand that the technical analysis is how we trade, but fundamentals is what moves the market. And we like the fundamentals, right? We like the fundamentals because that is actually what gives us our direction. That's what gives us our momentum. That's what gives the market, helps it strengthens and weakens different currencies. So that's actually, where that comes from. Now at 8:30, we have CAD, right? Some CAD news. They have their CPI numbers. That's actually what we got yesterday. And as you can see, we have quite a few today, not too many, but a few. Now, there's liquidity in NZD, okay? So NZD also impacts AUD. They kind of run side by side. So hey, look, they got a red folder too. I was just gonna let you know that if NZD has a red folder, it's gonna impact AUD and vice versa. But guess what? They both are looking out for you tonight. They're like, you know what? We're gonna do this together. So we have a red folder for NZD later, and then we also have a red folder for AUD. Now, I want you to understand. And then when we have nice, beautiful, trendy markets, nice, beautiful markets, you know, those market, like without the political or without the impact that we have from things like COVID and different things, those red folders spike a lot. Hasn't been too much. I'm starting to see movement in their red folders again, which is a good sign, which tells me that the market is settling back out, because we know the market has been you had to understand the market since the pandemic began. So it kind of says that the economic data, you know, as the feds and different governments around the world start to tapering and all of that sort of impact from this pandemic, what you're starting to see is the market is starting to get that trendy feel back to it, or these red folders are starting to give the market the direction like it's supposed to. So they're starting to have greater impact on the market, right? Just like you guys, I'm telling you, all those 777s yesterday after the red folders, that's an indication, you know, to really kind of help you understand why we embrace and don't run. We embrace, we don't run, right? We embrace, we don't run. So you always want to come here and kind of see what's going on. Nothing different. You know, instead of one, they have two, right? So really nothing different than what we already talked about or what we looked at. So not too much heavy right now, but what we're going to do, let me see here. We're going to go ahead. I'm trying to think which one we want to start on. Let's see. I know. So these are our markups pretty much from this week. So you guys already know. I'm about to give you a clean chart somewhere, and here I will grab a new one. Now, I do want to do, let's see, look at this AUDs. See how AUD and NZDs, how all of them pulled, like you see how all of them kind of just hit for, you know, I kind of like to check it at the top of the hour, because this is when we get a new 4-hour candle as well. So, you know, even though I can get up and I can look and I can kind of prep for what's happening, you still want to kind of see at the top of that 4-hour candle, which is at 5 o'clock, which is why our call is at 5 o'clock. So when you kind of see like the NZDs and the AUDs, what I was just explaining, you see that now they actually have quite a few triggers that just came through there. And I was actually looking, and they're on the higher time frames. So that's good. Like that shows some liquidity. Now, but Euro USD had triggered a little bit before the call, and that's the one I was looking for. It's down here at the bottom. And that's this where we're going to start. Now we'll come back over here. We'll analyze some of these. I got some harmonic scanner. I got one bounce back, you know, we'll see based on the time and what's happening in the market. Because ultimately, if we could take a trade, we're taking a trade. If we can't take a trade, then hey, you know. So this is Euro USD. I don't need this one. So what I'm going to do now, for those of you all, let me explain this, because we have some new people that'll join us. This right here, this lighter background, you just come down here where it says strategy and BYOB cash out, and you can change your background. Now, I preference the dark background, so you will see more charts, but I'm trying to accommodate those of you all who have requested, you know, to be able to look at based on whatever reason you're, you know, based on, you know, what it is. So that's why, you know, that's there. So let me see, is the stream not working? I'm sorry, guys. I'm just trying to make sure that everything is doing what it's supposed to be doing. All right. I don't think it's streaming everywhere it need to be, but that's okay. So as we kind of look at here, all right, we're going to come back here, but I'm going to keep this chart for our initial analyzation. We might do this one too. I don't think we need this one anymore. Yeah, no, I do too. Trust me, I do too. I'm not a fan of the lighter background. It might be my vision, my eyesight, my whatever, you know, it could be, but there are some people who, for whatever, reason, prefer the dark background. I know some of them mention eyesight, vision. It takes less strain off the eyes, things like that. So just trying to accommodate, everybody to a certain extent. But you guys should have your charts up too. And so having your charts up, just kind of showing you what options you have available to you. That's the big thing. That's the big thing. So let's start here. So Euro USD, we saw it triggered on the 15. Now understand that this is the foundation. This is the biggest thing I want you guys to see, okay? And why this is important. Let me come back here. I think it's a good one for me to kind of show you. Now, let me show you right here. And you guys will understand what I mean in just a moment. So as you're looking, like this is one that we have marked up. You see, I don't even have the stochastic on here right now because I'm just trying to show you something. I'm not analyzing anything. Do not take the stochastic off your charts. I'm just trying to show you something. I need you to be able to see it. So when I'm looking here, all right, when the market is trendy, basically what I meant about economic data, and we're going to get into analyzing, but I think this is going to help you. So when the market is trendy, okay, now obviously this is GBP, and you see how it broke that line. Now let me tell you something. GBP is your disrespectful child, okay? It pays very well, but it is your disrespectful child. Everybody, somebody, or you personally have that child that's ultimately going to do what it's supposed to do. But you see how GBP disrespects the trend line? So don't think that they're not, but that's the one that, is going to be a little disrespectful, right? Ultimately, they're going to end up in their destination, but that's your wild child, okay? I just want you guys to understand that. That's the one you got to yell at a little bit. That's the one that, you're talking about, yes, I agree. That's the one you got to yell at. So don't spaz out. I'm telling you that because you have some children, that's just nice and calm and collected. You'll never have no problems from, actually, that's my son. Today's his birthday, right? That's the one, like, if you say do this, they're going to do it. You know what I mean? Like, they just nice, calm, and collected. Listen, that's that child. GBP is that child that you always, you like, who, Jesus, right? But when you understand what you're doing, when you understand this is why we spend time helping you, because an educated trader is a profitable trader, because education will help you understand that they didn't break the trend line. They just talking back a little bit, right? So understand that this right here, this nice trendy market. And then when I come over here, this is like I had an uptrend, I had a downtrend. I'm not getting to breaking this down. I'm just trying to show you what the market's doing. And this is when you guys get those nice, beautiful trades. This is when you guys, can ride the wave. This is when you even not understand the top-down analysis, or understanding where you are in the market. This is when everything just works out great for you, right? When the market's doing this and this. Then, of course, you have times like right now for no rhyme or reason, but as far as orders or, could be waiting on fiscal year, it could be so many different things because this is what happens in September, right? Not going to try to figure it out, just going to have a conversation with you. What happens is right here, the market start moving sideways. And then you think you're going to the zone, but then it doesn't hit the zone. You think that it might keep going up, but then it comes back down before it goes up, right? So this is a rangy market. And in a rangy market, the market goes up, down, and sideways. So this is where you guys be like, well, what did I do? This is why we spend so much time on your analyzation. This is why we spend so much time walking you through. This is why you have to understand what the market's doing, because this is when you have to be more of a skilled trader, okay? And you want to be a skilled trader anyway. So it's not like you be like, oh, well, I'll come back tomorrow. No, you want the skill set, period, okay? You want to be a skilled trader, period. But this is where, when you're looking, this is why what we're teaching you and what we're walking you through is so important, okay? Because you want to understand these conditions. So let's jump back over here and let's analyze. So that's why we do our step 1, step 2, step 3. Step 1, time BYOB cash out. Step 2, time frame confluence. Step 3, top down analysis approach. So you can do a step 3, step 2, step 1. It's just do all the steps, right? Do all the steps. Don't skip a step, okay? Do all the steps. Now, here. And if you have any questions, comments, or testimonies as I'm discussing this, as we're going through it, just kind of drop it in the chat and let me know. Okay. Drop it in the chat and let me know. And we'll definitely get your questions answered. All right. Definitely we'll get your questions answered. All right. So now, what am I looking for? Now, my higher time frames give me direction. My mid time frames is where I analyze. My lower time frames is how I enter. So I got to understand where I'm going. This is where we analyze. This is where we enter. Okay. So when I'm looking at that, we start on a 15-minute chart. This is exactly, like I said, that foundation call went in great detail last night, but this is literally, kind of where that begins. So right now you have that blue line cross over the red and an upward momentum, right? I have that blue line cross over the red and an upward momentum right here. And then of course, I'm on a 15-minute chart. So we're setting a foundation, blue line cross over the red. And you see, I'm saying it over and over again. I said it more than once on purpose, because I want you to know that's your leading indicator. It's your guiding indicator. It's the one that you want to look at first, because I know you open the charts and this is what you see. Now, you got a green candle with a flat bottom. Then you have a PSAR flip to the bottom. Now, as we analyze, all right, this is a historical trade. Now, as we analyze, what you're going to see and what you're going to start seeing is that I'm going to start moving and helping you understand how the time frames. Every time frame is just a different view. So I'm looking at the same space, okay? I'm looking at the same space. Now, this is historical, but I'm also wanting to analyze this trigger that came through. Look, we're starting to get some more, but I want to analyze that trigger that came through that was down here, that trigger for a buy. And a trigger for a buy on a 15. So I'm going to drop this call price on here. So what you're going to see is us analyzing the historical trade and a live trade at the same time, or a live trigger at the same time. Now, understand this, these triggers, each one of these tools that we're pulling from do different things. They're called in a correction, okay? It's called in a correction. Yes, if you're looking for a buy, it's selling right now. If I'm looking for a sell, it's buying right now. You're not freaking out. You're not spazzing out. That's what's supposed to happen, okay? That's what it's supposed to be. It's called in a correction to give you opportunity to analyze, okay? And once you begin to learn the market, impulse, correction, continuation, correction, those are your beautiful trade entries, okay? This is why this tool is so powerful, all right? Impulse, correction, continuation, correction, continuation, correction, continuation. When this triggers in a correction, you're looking for that good entry point as it would turn around, because it would trigger here. When it pulls back out of the correction, it's going to trigger here. It's going to correct. Now you have time for a beautiful setup, a beautiful trade. It will never be called at the time of the trade. And I want to be very, very clear about that. I want you guys to really understand that, like right here, this is called for a buy right now. And so I'm going to drop an arrow over here just to kind of, so you understand what we're looking for as well, what it triggered for. But understand, it will never trigger at the time of the trade. It is not a signal, okay? It is not a signal. Now, let's go here and let's jump up to my hour. When I come to my hour, we understand why it's a trigger. So here, my stochastic is moving up, okay? My stochastic is in a buy, the historical trade, right? And then, of course, right here, you see where we're beginning to move up. All right. You see where we're getting rejected right there. And then, of course, right here in my live trade. Now, remember, this is a real price. OK, so when you take your trades, this only matters for analyzation. This only matters for looking left for support and resistance lines. None of this matters for this current information. So this right here is my current price. This is real price, real orders, real people doing real things. So this is live. Think about it like you're driving. And I'm kind of listening. Ms. Anderson answered those questions phenomenally last night. I'm just trying to reiterate it as we analyze trading, like as we go through the charts, because think about it like driving. You can always look back behind you and where you were, but this is where I am. I get on the street where I am now. I don't get on the street back here. I can't analyze my entry point for my current position at this stop sign back here. I got to look at it from this stop sign. So we always trade from current, right? We always trade from current. And that's why we're analyzing a live trade. This is just historical data to teach, educate, to inform, to guide. This is my live trade right here, okay? So right here, okay, you see that this is in that buy, right? So we have a very valid trigger. You notice that when I'm here, this is pulling down. You see, this is called in a correction. So I have a Hikinashi candle with a buy, but it's called in a correction. Now, before I drop down, because I'm not ready to enter anything, I'm gonna come up and I'm gonna look and see what's going on in the market, right? Remember how I said, just make sure you do them all. Don't skip anything, right? And I want you guys to get out of that mindset where it has to be now. It has to be like this. It has to be, right? So it's an art, not a science. So yes, I'm gonna drop down to the 5 minute, but it's an art, not a science. Now, as we look at this, right, what you're seeing is it's sitting on a support and resistance line, that trigger price, right? So even though everything looks, that's a new 4-hour candle, my hour is up. So look at that, I had an hours moving up. Look at my 4-hour, I still have space and opportunity, right? I'm not taking a trade just yet. This has to finish correcting. And once it's finished correcting, then you have opportunity. You see how this is starting to turn around now? We see this right here. All right. So you notice that, and this is, look, 15 minute down here. Where are we at? We're up here now. So we're at the top. So we know we're not taking that trade until there's some sort of correction that happens. Now here, you notice that 5 minute is started down here. So yes, see, I still dropped down. I started here, you see how it starts pulling up, right? Look at how it's pulling up. But now you see that correction, and now it looks like it's trying to come back up. So all of that being said, you know, we got to wait. But you can see where we are. So even here, when I look on my higher time frames, right, you see how the market's trying to pull it back up, but I'm not taking a trade till I know it breaks through there, because what's important about historical is when I look left, you can see my support and resistance, all right? Questions, comments, testimonies on that? Questions, comments, testimonies, any. All right, none. All right, so let me see here. So that's that one, right? So we know where we are. And then I want you to pay attention to this too, because I'm about to change that. I'm gonna write over that. Same thing we just analyzed, right? I just don't have a call price on there. So it's the same thing we just analyzed. But when you're looking right here, this is a psychological level. Do you understand why we're bouncing off of this level? This is a psych level, right? This is a psych level. This is a psych level. Do you see it? This is a psych level. You understand why we're bouncing off of this level? And then if I put a trend line on here, you know, I'm right. Put that trend line, 1, 2, follow through, 1, 2, follow through, right? 1 touch, 2 touch, follow through. Now what you're seeing is it how it hit that, retest it, and then it pulls back up, right? So where we're stuck is at that last, we're not really stuck, but at that last significant level. Where we're stopped is at that last significant level, right? That's where we're stopped. Any questions, any comments, any testimonies? Any questions, any comments, any testimonies? Because if you don't have any, then what we're gonna do is go ahead and keep it moving. All right, and let's go ahead and analyze something else. So I'm gonna leave this one right here, okay? And I can put that on there too, and I'm gonna use that dark screen. Now we're going back to the dark screen. 1, 2, follow through, right? 1 through, pull through. So I'm gonna come back over here and we're gonna look. So CAD, JPY, GBP CAD, and Euro JPY are the harmonic scanner trades that I pulled. All right, so CAD, JPY, we pulled on the hour. See, this is how when you understand what I was explaining about direction, analyzation, entry, right? When you understand that, it's not gonna matter where you pull, what time frame you pull it from. But I'm still sticking to pulling these from the hour right now. Probably gonna always pull them from the hour, because I want you guys to understand, like, you know, that there's structure inside of structure. And when we start pulling things on a 15-minute chart, you guys have a tendency to ignore the higher time frames. Like, we don't go up. And I really want to get you guys in that habit where you're doing that, like where you're going up. So I want to make sure, you know, that you guys are doing that. So let's see. So this triggered CAD JPY. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna put this on here. Let's drop this on here. I don't need it that thick. Look, y'all, it is only Wednesday. It is only Wednesday. We got one more day. So I need y'all to wake up. Get interactive. Ask some questions. Okay, thank you. So for clarity, you have the call price, but you always pull up the charts and look at it from the hour. So I always look, so okay, the call price is where the trigger happened. All right, the call price is where the trigger happened. So I can, it's that let me drop this on here and then I'll help you with that. All right. So these right here are to take profits from the harmonic scanner. So just to be clear, let's analyze one. Let's pull one. Actually, GBP CAD, I don't want it. That's one. Let's pull one. All right, so USD JPY just triggered. What in the world? That is not what was supposed to happen. Let's fix that. Because that was awkward. All right, so let's try this again. I'm gonna click the button and we're gonna pray it don't change colors on us. Just do its own thing, right? All right, so we'll analyze this one first and then we'll go back to the other one. So now what I'm looking for, this just triggered for a sale, right? So this is a brand new trigger, triggers for a sale, right? I'm just throwing this off. So I don't put these arrows, but I wanna help you guys understand. So it triggered on a 5 minute. Why are so many triggers on a 5 minute? So many triggers are on a 5 minute because that's where activity happens the most, right? That's where we get all the activity. So now what we're looking at is, let me put this call price on here. The call price happens at support and resistance lines, okay? And so that's what I mean by it's a trigger, because at support and resistance lines is where activity happens, is where the market reacts. Like every time you hit a stop sign, don't hit the stop sign, but every time you get to a stop sign, what do you do? What do you do? Or a yield sign, what do you do? Stop sign, yield sign, what do you do? You stop, you pause. Are y'all awake? Are y'all on the call? I mean, what are y'all doing? So every time we get to a stop sign, you know, we stop, we pause, right? Some of y'all keep going. But the reality is this is what, you know, this is that trigger price, right? That's that trigger price where some activity happened. So if I zoom in really tight before we start analyzing, the reason why the triggers happen off the 5 minute for the most part, look at all the activity that's happened here. We hit a support and resistance line, we retest, like reject a little bit, breakthrough, and then retest, right? So we hit it, reject, breakthrough, retest. That's why these are like those tight entries, because now this was not analyzed. So don't say Ms. Dyer said, don't say Trade Whisper said take a trade. But if I was trading, this is where I enter the trade right here. Like for a tighter entry, this is where I would enter my trade. So yes, everything you do, if you're brand new, is from the 15-minute chart as you're building and learning. But as you begin learning and as you keep developing, now we know our stochastic and the buy, we know all of that. So we haven't analyzed this yet. But I'm just trying to show you the activity that takes place around the support and resistance line. Also, here's another one, right? You see how the market comes down here. It's up. I'm not trying to really move this, but the market taps this. You see it rejects, it breaks through, it retests, and then it pulls down. That's what happens around support and resistance lines. Let's look at another one, okay? The market taps it, it rejects, it breaks through, it retests, and then it keeps going. That's why your lower time frames are your entry. That's why we have to drop down. That's why we check the 5-minute chart or lower. That's why we do that, because that's where entry, but I don't determine if I take a trade from there. That's how I tighten in my entry, because I don't want to enter a trade if it's doing this, because now I'm going to get a significant amount of drawback. Or if something is shifting in the market, you're going to see it down here first. So what if that's not a correction? What if it's not a retest? What if the market is shifting directions? So we have to higher time frames, right? So it triggered on the 5-minute. right? Look, you even got a PSAR flip now. Triggered on a 5-minute for a sell. So we know that we're looking for a sell based on that. I come here and I check my 30-minute. So now I understand it's a valid trigger. Yes, I am oversold. I am down here at the bottom. I am oversold. Here, right, my candle is red. This is a trend candle. Very, very, very valid trigger, okay? You see how it's called in the correction, right? It's called in the correction. I come down here, that is a sell. Now what I want to do, let me check my higher time frame so I understand where I am in the market. When I began checking where I am in the market, what I understand, I squinch my charts up, all right? Excuse me. I squinch my charts up, and when I squinch my charts up, I can look left and understand where I am. Because if I'm here, right, let's just say I was right here at this support and resistance line. Let's change the color a little bit right here. I know I'm not taking a sell till it breaks there. I don't care. The trigger is valid, but you still have to do your analyzation. So I don't care what the trigger says at that point, because I'm an educated BYOB master trader. I understand that I'm not taking a trade below this point till it breaks, because look at all the rejection that's happened right there. So that's why we look at the higher time frame, squinch our charts up, but I don't enter the trade from here. This is the same market, same space, same place, but I can't enter the trade from this point, and I'm hitting everything but what I'm trying to. Does that make sense to you? Does that answer your question? Because, right, so you have to I'm going to always look at the higher time frame. It does not matter what, I'm going to always look at the higher time frame. So you have your strategy, BYOB cash out, you have the time frame confluence, and your top-down analysis. So here, right, especially look at how the market's been going sideways. Look at this. This is not a nice trendy nothing. This is not a nice trendy nothing, right? So you always want to know where you are. Just like, okay, I'm in Jacksonville. So here in Jacksonville, even though I need to go to the grocery store in my area, that's where I'm at. Like, I'm down here to understand how to get there. How do I go to the grocery store in my area, right? This is where my analysis takes place. But I still need to know, if you know anybody that's ever told you, they always be like, you live in Georgia. So because I'm so close to the border. But I need to know, if I'm looking to get to somewhere in my neighborhood, then I need to know that I'm not in the south part of Jacksonville, right? So I need to know that I'm not about to cross over into Georgia, because I want to stay in Florida. So this is like why that top-down approach. But me looking at the Google Maps or looking at where I am in the city is not going to help me in my neighborhood where I'm driving. So it's the same spot. The geographic location didn't change, but I just have to look at it from different perspectives, right? I have to look at it from different perspectives. So, all right. Not understanding the question, when should we buy? I need a little bit more clarity on that question. You're going to buy when everything is in alignment. Start at the 20 down at the bottom, and it might be, you might have to go back and watch the training from last night as well, because she goes over all of that. That's what that basics call is. Let me see this other question, and we're going to go back. On the chart, no matter what pair it is, make sure. On the chart, no matter what pair it is other than USD, is the money broke down in USD for our understanding? You're digging deep. You're digging real deep. You're digging real deep. Now, go back to the psychological levels. There's some other training that we did talk about that. That's actually probably more of a training call, like a talk with the finance doctor type question. You're not going to learn about that in the academy. You're not going to learn about that. Not necessarily saying you can't, but it's irrelevant. You know what I mean? That's just like when you open your phone, like one of the analogies Dr. B uses all the time is when you open your phone and you go to get on Facebook and you go get on the app, do you have to know all the intricate details behind the app in order to utilize it? What you're looking for is to buy or sell, right? You're looking to ride the wave of the movement. You're not, now, if you were going to go actually buy some USD with some JPY, then yes. And it's in the psychological levels, because I did talk about it a little bit, but and he's actually spoken on that as well, how this is broken down. So that's what I say. That's like a 30-minute answer. And, maybe he'll cover that again for us. But at the same time, so bring that to a talk with the finance doctor on Thursday night. But you do want to understand that this is a real price, and it's broken down. But this is literally how many JPY it take to buy US dollar. But see, we're not buying anything. That's why I say it's a little irrelevant to really dig that deep. All right. So let's go back over here. Is there a vibrato video setup? What do you mean by vibrato video setup? All you have to do is come here, and that's covered on Tuesday night as well. Come here to IML Web Analyzer, right? That's what I mean about the basics call. She goes over all of that. You type in the website, or you get into it from here in the side of the academy, or like IM.center. And when you go into it, then, she breaks down what all of this means, like what everything means. But all you have to do is click the strategy, and, that's it. So that's the purpose of that Tuesday night call, because all it's really broken down. She does a great job breaking that down, and it is very clear, very, very, very clear. And, she asks you guys to ask questions too, like I do. So, all right. So let's see, CAD JPY. Let's look at this. All right, you're welcome. Y'all, it's streamed on the YouTube channel from last night. I highly recommend that some of you guys go back and watch last night's training. That, like I said, that some of those questions, that's asked. That's why we break these calls down the way that we do, so you can understand. She does cover the vibrato. Ms. Anderson goes in great detail over how this is set up and what you're looking for. All right, so CAD JPY. Here we are on the hour. Once again, as I'm looking here, now blue line cross over the red. So obviously this is calling for a buy, right? It's calling for a buy. Now, we're gonna not just blindly take a buy, okay? We're not doing it. Now, you notice I never bring over the entry price and all of that. If you want to, hey, have at it. If you want that line on there to help guide you, but I don't do it. Now, right here, blue line cross over the red in an upward momentum, but you see we got some pullback right here, right? Something's happening. Let me check my 4 hour. Look at that. We still have a 4 hour candle right here. So you see right here, we are oversold. So before we even start saying, hey, let me try to take a buy, right? We're definitely oversold. Let's see where we are in the market. So if I'm looking at where I am in the market, you can see, let's see here. You can see, you look where we are, right? You see so obviously it broke through here, but you can still see there is some hesitation. If I go down a time frame, you can see right in there where there's some hesitation. You can see right in here, there's some hesitation. There's some stop sign activity going on. I can see, right, as I continue to look left, there is some stop sign activity, right? The market reacts to this area. Now, what is this area? Let me see. You got 86.5 down through here, but I want to focus. I'm gonna just put the line on there based on what we see. So you can see that the market has been reacting to that area. And so understanding that the market's been reacting to that area, it's obvious that we can possibly pull down a little bit more. There's too much momentum. It's just entirely too much momentum. That's why I say that entry price might help guide you, but you're not blindly taking that, right? We're not blindly taking that. Now, what I will tell you, because CAD does like to react to their news, right? What do we say we had today, right? We have a CAD red folder. So that's now, if the fundamentals and the alignment line up, that's going to give you a nice push. But what I am seeing right now, that's a nice rejection area. Is it possible it pulls down? Absolutely. But what it's looking like that this is going to come back up. Now, the only reason why it wouldn't, obviously, like I said, that's 100 pips that it's calling for. So the only reason why it wouldn't is, and look at how this is rejecting on this area. The only reason why it wouldn't is based on that economic data, just based on what I'm seeing on this chart right now, based on what I'm looking at, based on how this is rejecting to this area, looking at what's happening. You see how when I drop down time frames, how we got strong rejection happening here, right? We just don't have a lot of liquidity at this moment, but there is going to be some movement. Any questions on this? Now, please don't take a buy right now. There's nothing saying take a buy. Everything is saying it's coming. It should come, right? Everything is saying it should come. Nothing said take a buy. Not a thing, not a thing. Please don't jump into a trade thinking you just gonna let it ride out. All right, so let's see. So Euro, matter of fact, Euro USD just triggered for a buy. Where'd it go? It was over there. Is it not gonna show up on this one? It's gonna make me look like I'm crazy. All right, so here we go. It just don't go away on me. All right, see right here, I'm like, I know what I just saw. So we just analyzed, right? Euro USD. And now just 10 minutes ago, as we were training and talking, right, it triggered again. So that's what's going to happen, guys. You're going to see triggers happen more than one time as it's prepping for its movement, because it's a if this, then that. So on that Euro USD, it triggered again. And if I put the other call price on here, oh, I grabbed the wrong thing, didn't I? If I put the other call price on here, and then we're going to go look at another one. We got time. We got time. We got time. And they're real close. See how it looked like it's on top of it? But I mean, it's not, but look how it looked like it's on top of it. So even in the midst of us talking, this thing triggered again. So I'm trying to drop down. So you can see 10 minutes ago, this is where this trigger happened. So the first trigger came when this was in that correction, right? The first one came when it was like starting the correction. Now it's starting to come out of the correction, right? Now it's starting on the 3 minute, you got a PSAR flip right there. You can see that that's valid. You see, I was trying to break the line. My stochastic is starting to curve a little bit. It's not, so it's not. So don't try to make it that it is. So you can see, right? We still have to break through that area. Nothing has changed, but do you see now how, what it's trying to do? And I went back to this so I can show you how these triggers work, because you're good. This is not how it, like, they trigger more than one time. And so you can actually see that, right? That's what I wanted you to see. And I wanted this is what I want right here. GBP cap. That's what I want. All right, so GBP cap. Now, this one just triggered for a sell. And I also have it on a harmonic scanner for a sell. And it's also a markup from yesterday, right? So let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. All right. So here, right, as I look at this, so I'm going to, let me see how far off it is. 7.4. Let's see how far off. Let's see. I don't think it'll be like far off, but I want to put these on here. Did anybody cash out on Bitcoin or anything yesterday? Like anybody? It moved some. You see how the triggers, like, and I'm doing this with intention, because remember how I told you, based on broker, based on day, right, that this thing will adjust. So this is what we marked up yesterday. These are what we marked up yesterday or the day before. It's Wednesday, right? So yeah, this is what we marked up. But now you can see that there's an adjustment made. Remember, these are based on Fibonacci's. So there's a lot of construction in here. You guys know I call it a little construction zone. It's a lot of activity that's happening in here. So even if it did go down and bypass here, it might be a little bumpy. But you see how the adjustments have been made on those take profits. So now this is where the harmonic scanner called it for a sell. Now, as you can see, look at all this rejection that's happening. So what are harmonic scanner? I'm gonna see if y'all awake and paying attention, because we've been talking about this for 2 weeks. What are the harmonic scanner trades? Like, what are they? What are the harmonic scanner triggers? Thank you. I'm like, we'll sit here. I'll sit here. Yes, reversal patterns. You know what? You all right with me, Alyssa? You always come through. I'm telling you, you all right with me. So it is reversal patterns, right? Reversal patterns. That's exactly what they are. So now as you see here, like you see on this hour, right? So we notice that we've been rejecting there. And so here I got that stochastic where I'm starting to curve down. Now I want to come up and check my 4 hour. As I come up and check my 4 hour, you see that it had been trying to break through there, but we got nothing when we overbought, and it's pulling down, but we still haven't started, right? We still haven't started our pull down. Like we still haven't started, it actually coming down. That's not what's actually happening right now. So what we do know is that we're not gonna, right? We're not going to, do anything at this current moment until, you know what I mean? Like until we know what it's doing. So look how we're trying to curve up again right here. So very valid, right? Very valid identification of a reversal pattern. But what we also have to make sure is that that reversal pattern is going to play out, right? We want that reversal pattern to play out. So you don't get into anything until you start doing that. So now when I start dropping down, this is where you guys could have taken that trade on the 15-minute. Now, obviously, this was prior to the call where we had this movement, but I just want you kind of to see, like right here, why is my understanding where I am important? Why is understanding where I am in the market important? Even if I'm just looking for 10 pips, like even if that's all I'm looking for, right? No matter what, why is that important? Because you can see, right, that it rejected. So would I really be so eager to take a buy if it had triggered for a buy? So guys, would I be eager to take a buy had this trigger for a buy? No, exactly. So to go back to that question that I was asked, do I always check my higher time frames? Absolutely. This is why. But yet now we understand that we're triggering for a sell. So which means that when I'm here, like I get those triggers that happen as you're analyzing, blue line cross over the red and downward momentum. You got that red candle with a flat top. And then you have a PSR flip right there. So that would have been, right, 15-minute analyzation, higher time frame direction. We clearly see market guidance and direction right here. Market guidance and direction right here tells me rejected. We're rejecting. I come here. I'm looking at this. This is my analyzation, 15-minute. Blue line cross over the red and a downward momentum. Red candle with a flat top, PSR flip to the top, right? PSR flip. Drop down to my 5-minute. Everything is still in alignment. We're still selling. And as you really begin to understand what we're talking about, as you advance your skill set, then you could have dropped down and had a real tight entry here on a 5. But even if you started here, right, you still got your money. So that's where those 10 pips cash out, understanding the market come from, all of that, all right? This is what we're understanding. Now, for those of you all looking at the rest of this, we need to clear this area. I need to get some good confluence on my higher time frame. Make sure they're in alignment before you really start pulling down for this sell. Any questions, comments, or testimonies? Did that bring any clarity? Any questions, any comments, any testimonies? All right, no questions, no comments, no testimonies, guys. So let me see here. Let me recap on something. Obviously, we didn't get to go through everything but that's why you guys are master traders. What we look, okay, so as far as looking at the 30-minute, because of GBP, that's why I'd be real, very, very particular. So you can, like if I was trading from, like when I was doing this 15-minute, right? So what we always tell you is the 15-minute, the hour is the time frame confluence. Now, in this case right here, right, you see my stochastic already started curving down and I'm having rejection. Can we look at the 30-minute? Because there's something telling me and I got like I understand that there's something. Absolutely. You could drop down to the 30-minute for your confluence. Absolutely. And you see you definitely have it. So absolutely. The only thing I want to point out is that it has to be giving you something. If this was still straight up in a buy, then we wouldn't do it. right? If this was just a strong buy right there, then you wouldn't do it. So absolutely you can. So absolutely. All right. Absolutely. So real quick, just kind of trying to see. I know we kind of played around in the indices. Let me see. So they actually after that rejection, it came down, and so it's kind of been consolidated. It's kind of been consolidated in this area as far as US 30. You see where NASDAQ is at, S&P, all of it's kind of the same. So you can see right here, NASDAQ is sitting on that trend. Now, don't fret as I'm rushing through this, not rushing through, but kind of going through it a little fast, because that's the purpose of the 9 a.m. call. And so we'll go through this obviously on the 9 a.m. call. Just kind of wanted to show you where we were, give you a glimpse. So if you do decide to trade it in between a call, you understand Bitcoin is playing out really beautifully. Now, mind you, this is the one I really wanted to tap on before I go, because you guys know it's time for me to transition. Got to do my mommy thing. So right here, as I put the pivots on here, we're almost to this pivot point. All right. So this psychological level, our pivot point is right there. Bitcoin is playing out beautifully. All right. I feel that Bitcoin can come back up here, but I would definitely pay attention. This is going to close out. Okay. This is going to close out. I can say it with confidence. All right. It's going to close out, but you're not taking a trade while it look like this, right? You see it's rejecting off of that R1 right here. So it's going to play out. Nothing at the moment. Nothing at the moment. So, and this is what I want you guys to understand about Bitcoin. Okay. For those of you all who are new to it, it'll sit there, it'll sit there, it'll sit there. And any of the cryptos, they'll sit there, and then all of a sudden it's gone. It's like it'll set up. So when you say, please support a resistance, and also this is a good place to begin doing your buy stops and your sell stops, but you're going to perfect that in your demo account. We're not going to do that live for the first time. We're not going to do that. Not at all, right? We don't do that. So we're educated, smart BYOB master traders, right? Because doing that in your live account before you practice it and you perfect it in your demo account is not a good idea, all right? So just kind of pay attention. Let it break through here. Let it finish doing what it does. You see it kind of rejected off of there already. So let Bitcoin finish doing what it does. And then just get ready. All right. So you can definitely see. Now, when Bitcoin moves, I love it. I just love it. I love Bitcoin. I do. So, all right, guys. But I just don't want you to get caught where something like this happened and you get those nice little surges, because that's what it does. Gold bounces, Bitcoin surges, okay? Gold bounces and Bitcoin surges. And so you want to make sure you're always on the right side of it. So we're going to make sure we do our proper analysis, all right? So with that being said, time to transition. I love you all. Do not forget 9 a.m., 9 a.m., 9 a.m., guys. And I will see you then on this same line. All right, y'all have a wonderful and blessed morning or a few hours in between the call.